Got you stuck off the realness, realness. Got you stuck off the realness, realness.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We are back.
we're back.
We're live.
What the hell's today? Today's
Thursday,
Thursday.
March 22nd, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Boom, on the money.
It is March 22nd.
Yes, March
And
22nd.
it's much better than it was yesterday.
Much better. The sun is trying to make its way out. I think anything is an improvement over yesterday's weather. Anything. Anything.
You worked yesterday?
Yeah, I had to work yesterday. Trains are running. I'm working. So
It was just a sad sight yesterday because it started out, it depressed the hell out of me because as soon as I walked outside, it looked like that scene in Game of Thrones when they're just in the middle of nowhere. I was the only person in the street, and I couldn't even see what was in front of me. That's how bad it was. Those were the healthiest flakes I've
there
ever
was
seen in my
some
life.
big snowflakes yesterday.
Like,
Man, those
what
were some
the
abnormally large snowflakes, man. I said it and you know what? Last night really it really duped us, man. In the mid afternoon where it started lightening up a bit, and I was like, I went to leave for work and it wasn't snowing as well. It was still coming down a bit, and I'm like, they did say though, lighten up before we get the worst of it. So I'm thinking maybe they're wrong. Maybe it just this is the end of it. And the city, man, was so clean. The city streets and sidewalks were so clean in the city, man, that I believe that maybe I'll go home. Everything will be clean. It won't be as bad. Another, the simple, easy, good day at the office. Get to go home tonight, have some fun, get to sleep, come and do this in the morning. And, it just be, bullshit.
I actually watched the news last night, and there was a bunch of people that went to, I think it was, what's the Barclays Center?
I don't.
It was the Barclays Center. That's the venue in Brooklyn. And the entire street it looked like it didn't even snow. They had such a crew of people out there.
There's places
And
you got
they
to
had-
play cleaner, but I
It
got
looked
off
like
the train
It
here.
looked like they had people there working that probably had to do community service. too.
Nah, they sanitation offers like a program. They pay them like $15, $16 an hour or some
Those
shit.
people didn't
Probably
look like
more
they were
than that.
getting
Nah, they get
paid.
paid.
They look pretty upset about it.
I mean, no one wants to work in the snow doing that labor, and then there's different types of snow, and that's the thing. These last few storms, that's the thing about a nor'easter, it doesn't bring the same, regular snowstorm punch because it's mixed with the other systems and has that moisture already. So it's like wet, heavy snow. Like there's that regular, regular nice fluffy snowflakes, and like yesterday where you have that thick, heavy,
It was like
snow.
like GMO fucking flakes. Like it looked genetically modified the snow.
And
That's why
what
I
happens
could
with
believe
these-
that guy I forgot his name, the one that was calling out the Rothschilds for weather control.
I don't know his name. There's different beliefs about it, man. But I mean,
It was GMO flakes.
like they were big. They were big snowflakes, man. But I mean,
it looked like frosted flakes falling from the sky.
It was ridiculous, man. Like if you like looking up, man. Like while I was in the city, and I'm looking up at these big buildings and the snow coming down. I'm like, yo, these are like I said it out loud. I'm like, these are some big fucking snowflakes. I did say that to myself, but
Just like, yeah.
it was. I mean, it's what happens with this type of snowstorm. And then later in the day, and the thing was, it was only moments at a time. For a few minutes, you would get those big, thick, heavy flakes, and then go back to regular looking snow, sleeting. Then
just a
about
weird
2 hours
time.
later, really thick, big, heavy flakes again, and then just regular snow back. It was going in between. But the craziest thing was just the difference in the streets in the city. And when I got back to Brooklyn last night, that's what I was trying to say. So you cut me off a little bit there.
Is anybody predicting another snowstorm before the spring comes?
They haven't said spring. See, that's the thing people saying too. Spring's officially here. When is spring? Just when we say spring solstice. The
spring solstice.
yes, when the spring solstice as of a couple days
Is that
ago.
even a solstice?
Yeah, that's what it is. The winter solstice, spring solstice, summer solstice, fall solstice, autumn solstice. But
I always thought it was just winter and summer solstice,
no.
and then the other two seasons are just like
It is just winter and summer
Oh.
solstice.
yeah.
Autumn equinox.
Autumn
Yeah, the
equinox.
equinox,
I thought
that's
it was
what it is.
equinox.
I know I'm
I
not
wanted to say
crazy.
I wanted to say
This is right.
equinox, but I wasn't sure I was gonna use it right there. So I'm definitely glad you came in there, Maddie.
Can we get a shot of Maddie?
Maddie with the save from back there?
We need the daily wave. There it is. Thank you for clarifying that. I
'Cause
like that.
Equinox
that
goes
sweater.
in between them. I do remember being told that. I'm pretty sure that's one of those questions I know I got wrong on a test in high school somewhere, because the way they give it to you.
She saved
But
the day on that
saved
one.
the day on that one. But
Fact checker.
when the
We need somebody checking
spring
facts.
equinox, then I definitely feel like I know I was saying that wrong. I don't know what I need to stop doing that. Just going forward when I know I'm definitely not right. Like I got the Marco Pavo. I thought it was.
Pave.
I thought it was a O. Like I don't know. Like I still don't know where I
'Cause
saw the extra O.
No, because we had Pico.
We had Pico. I know that, but I feel like in that email, unless it was just I glanced at them both and it was so close and it just stuck, and I'm like, nah, man, there's an extra O in there somewhere, and it's like, nah, man, there's not. There really isn't. You added one,
Shit. Like
but
the sun really just came up right now.
yeah, but it's just the weather was crazy, man. Just getting back to Brooklyn, man. When I
Tired of
got
it.
here, man, it was like, man, like now I hate it. It was like I went the whole like my work day yesterday out in the snow doing what I had to do.
Imagine
And it
wearing
wasn't
shoes.
bad actually. In all that weather, I mean, in the time I had to be at work, I maybe spent an hour tops, like in the snow. I was out in the cold all night outdoors because I have to work outside. But I spent maybe an hour tops of that time in the snow, hour and a half tops.
You should have seen how angry the food delivery people were yesterday.
I mean, you know what? The
They
only
were
reason they
fucking
should have been
upset,
angry,
bro.
the only reason I'm gonna say they were angry, and this is something I
job.
understand. Nah, it's their job, but they expect tips. And this weather is when you expect it to tip more. And if you see an angry food delivery person, it's because they're not getting tipped. And I would be angry too. I wouldn't care about what your food was cold. I don't give a shit. At that point, I might quit, man. You know, they ain't tipping me all day. I'm out here in this weather. Yo, you go deliver it. Then.
Yeah, but it's counteracted by those clear and nice, beautiful days where you tip them on seamless, so they're not expecting a cash tip. They already got tipped before the order even went out, and they just want to take their extra sweet time because they made the money already. So if it's the same guy, then
That's why you don't.
Sorry, you're not.
That's why you
getting
don't order in seamless. I mean, or if you do order on seamless,
tipped. Such
you
a
don't
terrible
tip with your
service.
card.
And the
Tip
other
them with cash when they get there. And the thing too is that a lot of servers prefer to get tipped with cash because it doesn't get taxed. Your tips,
this is true.
on a card is documented in.
But people need to beware of Seamless, though. Like, I was a big fan of Seamless at one point, but during these weather storms, they don't tell you when the place is closed, so they'll let you place the order anyways.
Nah, here's the thing. They don't update like that. They go on 24 hours. Not like a person's going to log in and tell hey, Seamless today, like say I'm closed today. That's not like how that service goes.
But some of
They
the
have-
places do that, though. Some of the places, they'll have a notification that says we're closed today, or they'll show the store hours, or if it's weather, whatever.
I mean, I know one thing I do notice frequently when using that is that it does say, usually in weather or holiday, it says the weather, inclement weather may affect store hours, be advised. Or they say today's holiday may affect store hours, be advised. Like that's usually what it'll say there. Like, I mean, in most cases, because for the most cases, a fast food restaurant or delivery place, if you know people in your area, and that's why, how often do you really see a Chinese restaurant close?
They 24/7
Yeah.
sometimes.
And they deliver. They deliver no matter what.
The problem that I had is that I placed the order, the place was closed, and Seamless was the one that was in charge of issuing the refund. It wasn't the actual place because they didn't update whatever it was. And they said I had to wait like 18 days or some shit like that. I waited 18 days. I never got anything. So they just kind of pocketed some burrito money, and then
See, that's the thing
place
too.
didn't even get it.
This is the thing too, and this is what I brought up yesterday, and I brought up frequently, is everyone wants everything automated. I mean, I get the delivery service. Either A, be prepared to not have food home, or B, you might have to check it out, man. I'd much rather, if I'm not talking to you on the phone and knowing you're getting my order and you're giving me this might take me a little bit longer. I don't like using like all these now. Like if you go to if you want Pizza Hut, any of these, you can't call your order anymore. You have to order it online. You have to deal with all this online, and the online stuff sometimes, frequently, will have a glitch, and it gets annoying after a while. But everyone wants everything automated.
You heard about the Pizza Hut sneakers?
Pizza Hut sneakers?
Did you hear about that? I think it was Pizza Hut that they just came out with a pair of sneakers that allows you to order a pie with the sneakers. Like you push in the tongue or something, like the Sonic the Hedgehog sneakers back in the day, where you just squeeze, or the pumps, shit like that. And people are actually buying into this. I guess it's Pizza Hut.
I guess I don't even know, man. That's one we gotta look into off the air,
The
man.
new Nike
That's
Pizza Huts.
that's nuts. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts.
This is another day of the week that we have an in-studio guest that we're looking forward to talking with. We'll bring you on in a sec. We're gonna play a quick commercial, but we have DeJuan Lewis, and he's gonna speak to us about acting, about industry, about all the fine things that we love to talk about.
Yes, and we will be back with more Good Morning Bushwick on this fine Thursday morning momentarily.
This coffee is delicious.
You know, I don't really drink coffee. This is what you come out with? This coffee's an empty cup. That's what you come out the gate with on me, man?
I mean, it is coffee for music people. And
Music for coffee people.
A good coffee will wake you the fuck up in the morning. Remember,
You know what else will wake you up in the morning? Good Morning Bushwick, hosted by us two, Bud and
Butter
Roach.
Roach.
I mean, here at First Live.
Where is First Live?
Bushwick, baby. You're
Take-
killing me, bro. You're killing me right now. Like
Where
First
are we
Live
from?
Bushwick. We're from Bushwick. We are Bushwick.
Pick up your damn cup and pretend you're drinking the coffee.
Here
Do
at
it
First Live
No,
Bushwick.
Do it again. Do it again.
You know what else will wake you up in the morning? Good Morning Bushwick.
Good morning.
Right now, we cutting a promo or we live?
No. Where can people go to find out what's happening in Bushwick?
BudandRoach.com and
And-
FirstLive.us.
This coffee's delicious.
Yes, it most certainly is. We are back on
We're
Good
back.
Morning Bushwick. We have-
DeJuan Lewis.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, guys.
It's a pleasure to meet you, bro.
Yeah, nice meeting you guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on today, man. How was your commute in? How was your commute in today?
It was all right. I was coming from Harlem,
Coming from Harlem.
so I was expecting it to be worse, to be honest. But
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. It wasn't
Trains
bad
running
at all.
good.
Trains
no,
were
no
running.
Delays, everything running.
Everything
Expresses
was
how it's supposed to.
everything was running how it was supposed to. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So I'm glad. Happy to be here.
It's always a good thing when the MTA game plans for that type of weather like we had yesterday, and there aren't that many hiccups because every train really ran to its capacity, a little slower on some of the outdoor lines.
It was the
obviously,
buses that were
because of the
shit.
weather.
The buses were terrible yesterday. The
Oh,
bus
yeah.
is terrible today. Like
Yeah.
how do you have a 908 bus and then when the bus is pulling out, the guy switches it to not in service and just keeps going?
Wow.
Makes you wait till 9:30. That's why I got here so late today.
Where you coming from?
From Williamsburg, so it's not even
Okay.
that long of a ride. I could have walked and made it here like faster than that.
Right.
What part of Harlem you from?
I'm actually from Boston, but I live up in Washington Heights right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
How's it different
Heights.
from Boston?
You ever been to Boston?
I drove by and I had like a hot dog while I was there.
I was a kid. I was like maybe 8, 9 years old when I was
Okay.
in Boston.
Boston's a very different vibe from New York City for sure. I mean, it's a major city, but it's a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed, not nearly as cluttered as New York. So I will say that sometimes, you guys are from New York?
Yeah,
Yeah.
born and
Yeah.
raised.
We're from
So you-
this neighborhood, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bushwick.
So you guys are used to like the grind of New York City and that hustle, go type of vibe in New York. It's not like that in Boston so much. So I will say that sometimes coming from that place, it's good to go back and try to where I could
Like you get some time to mellow
get
out.
a little
and
time to
slow
mellow
down.
out. But then I'll be honest, being there too long, I'm like, yo, I need that grind again. I need that energy again, Because I will say there's no other place like New York City in terms of that energy that it brings for sure.
And you don't have that Matt Damon, Ben Affleck accent.
Nah.
I'm waiting for you to say Boston.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't hear a Boston
Nah, I
accent.
lost that a long time ago.
Man.
Yeah.
That is
Fam,
one of my
though,
favorite
they still
accents,
got it, though.
That is
Sure.
one of my
Fam
favorite
still got
accents,
it,
though,
you know.
man. I love how people's wicked hard.
Wicked hard. Oh, yeah. No, the fam's got it. Yeah, for sure.
We have a tradition on this show where we order our drinks.
Okay.
And what are you in the mood for today, so?
Could I get a caramel latte today? I mean, caramel latte today?
What are you in the mood for, brother?
That actually sounded pretty good.
A caramel latte
yeah,
as well?
I'll take
Look at
one of
that
those
shot.
also.
Sounds pretty good over there.
I'm not gonna be the odd man out. 3 caramel lattes. 3 caramel
Yeah.
lattes.
Yes, sir.
And a mocha.
And a mocha for Maddie in the back.
Maddie Mocha.
So, you are an industry insider, so to speak.
To some degree.
To some
degree. Yeah.
You've been actor, musician.
Actor. I've been in the music industry for a good while. I started off when I was working at Atlantic Records, working in the A&R department, urban A&R in particular. So it's been interesting because I've seen a lot, like in terms of how everything's transitioned, you know, from like labels and studios to now everything is done, you know, on your own. Independently. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, because I mean, I was working in the A&R department, and A&R at this point, in many ways, some could say that it's dead.
Almost
going
obsolete.
extinct.
Yeah, you know.
Because especially what happens with the internet and technology really is just, it's too fast for people. And it's, when you look at history, people could say that we didn't have these type of technological advances in such a short amount of time.
Right.
But look at the record industry from, let's say, the early 1900s or whatever it was, to, let's say, the early 80s,
Right.
the early 90s. Record sales mattered before.
Absolutely.
Getting things pressed on vinyl cost money.
Definitely.
Everything was analog. Everything was tape. Everything was tracking in the studio. Now you got an app on your phone,
Right
and you can
there.
lay down the like we talk about, you know, people like Soulja Boy, who it was
Became
all
a
stock
millionaire
sounds and
Fruity
Fruity
Beat.
Loops.
Right.
He made a
yeah.
beat.
Fruity
He made a
Loops.
dance.
Yep.
And now he has a high net
That's
worth.
what did it, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, it comes to the grind. You speak of the grind of it, man. But I mean, just the transition of it, though, man. How even a lot of artists now, the knowledge of the industry, man. A lot of people don't want to cut their money that way, man. It's like,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna do all this work, I might as well keep it, you know, tight, keep it
Keep it
close knit,
in-house.
and
Yeah,
do it
absolutely.
myself.
For sure.
I mean, you see like Drake, you know, with his guys. You see a guy like Chance. You know, and unfortunately, you have the majors that, you know, have a Lil Wayne type of situation where it looks very independent, and you know, you're still under the umbrella.
But
So-
that's what a lot of artists do, is that they'll get signed or they'll have major backing, and then they'll start their own little set, and they
Right.
grow their set so
Yeah.
that when their contract is up, they can continue doing it independently. And
Yeah,
they have a
for sure.
household name.
I mean, I think there are definitely pros and cons to it, right? Like the fact that everything is now digital, the fact that everything is so accessible to everybody. Because, you know, back in the day, if you didn't have access to a studio or things like that, you were limited in terms of what you can do, how you can get your stuff out there. So now, I mean, I think it's a good thing that it's so easily accessible. But at the same time, you could look at the opposite side of that, whereas a lot of artists aren't being developed. You know, you don't have a team behind you. You don't have people saying like, oh, you know, maybe we should think about going in this direction, or helping you to develop as an artist, as a person, because those are the things that are going to go into your music ultimately.
Yeah, a lot of people. I think a lot of people think, yo, I'm gonna do this. This one is the hit. This is it.
Yep.
Like a lot of people, and this, I think, like with Finnegan yesterday. Kid's 17 and he's written 70 songs, like he said, since last Christmas.
Right.
Since last
And-
Christmas.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
that's not
3
even 4
months
months
in,
ago.
Right. Yeah.
Not
He's
even
writing
4
a song
months
a
yet.
day.
Yeah.
That's more than a song a day, almost. About a
Right.
song a day.
Yeah.
And you know, people don't want to do that. People think, yo, I got the one, and they're gonna keep with that. We know a couple people like that have been working that same track since God knows how long, and don't like maybe you might hear them try something else,
Right.
but it's still that same one
Yeah.
that they think is gonna get them put
Yeah,
on,
for sure.
and don't want to try to do anything else.
I think it's because like there's so many. Well, I can't say so many, but there are examples of people that's worked for. So then we start to think
And
that
that's
like
where people mess up.
exactly. So we start thinking like, oh, I'll just do it that way, and it it kind of talks about like what you were saying before about like just like that whole instant gratification thing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of people they just wanna make something be big
Yeah,
and be famous, and
Be
it's not really
famous and-
about
yeah.
it's not really about developing as an artist and really putting quality material together.
just putting something out there, try to get money, man.
That's it.
I think that's the thing too, man. A lot of people don't like do art anymore for the love of art. Art is a means to. I mean, people want to like fake. I say we see it a lot, and you can say you see it a lot. I think we do between a lot of people we know online. that fake the funk as artists.
Mm-hmm.
And like we know they aren't, and I'm not talking about just like artists like painting or anything. I mean just any type of art in general,
Right.
music, anything that people do, faking the funk when it's like, yo, like, come on, like let's be
Yeah.
honest here, like
Right.
you just jumped in this, you
Mhm.
just started doing this, you
Right.
see everyone else doing it, and you think you could find an avenue here.
Yeah.
Like you're not doing this for the love of it, out of the love of your heart. You're doing it for the likes, for the. And I just told him everyone it feels like does everything for social media gains.
Oh yeah.
Like I
For
don't
that
feel
quick
like
feedback.
I don't feel like a lot of people do these fitness challenges to get healthy, and like because they want to love their
Day
body
60.
because they love themselves.
Day 65.
A lot of people
Right.
want to show it. Oh look, body goals. Like everybody this. Look,
Right.
I can do it. Like Transformation Tuesday.
Yeah.
This and that and third. And I feel like people aren't doing anything like that. Definitely any of that because they love themselves.
Right.
They
Right,
want
right.
people to tell them, oh, it's going great, and keep motivating and pushing them when you should be all the energy you need to
Yeah.
do that, to want to get healthy, to want to live a better lifestyle.
Right, the lifestyle, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, the lifestyle part of it. I feel like that's the part of it that is very neglected. You know what I mean? It's not something that you live and breathe every single day. It's just like, all right, I'm gonna do this for this result. I'm gonna
That's
do
the-
this
the-
so
the-
I can get this
yeah.
in return.
So I
That's
can get
social
here.
media.
Yeah.
That's the social media
That's all
aspect
social
of it,
media,
man.
and it started with social media.
It started, man, and it even I mean we were discussing this. We said a few times. One of the biggest new things that's only come along with the advent of social media is gender reveal parties. Essentially, a early baby shower
second baby
before your
shower.
baby shower.
More
A
gifts.
baby shower
Baby
before your
shower.
baby shower.
Right.
And this is something that only has come about in this social media age, and people are going along with this trend. And if you, as not the parents, don't want to be involved in it, like you're a terrible person for that.
Oh yeah.
Like if you say, yo, like this makes zero sense, when did this become a custom?
Mhm.
Because you saw someone else do it, who saw someone else do it, who saw someone else do it,
Right.
Because
and
it has
now
a,
everyone
it has
has
a
to do it.
hashtag. That once something has a hashtag, everybody jumps
Everybody
on that
has
shit.
to jump on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, for sure.
First thing I saw was the gender reveal hashtag. I had no idea what the hell it was.
Right.
And then I start seeing the parties. And then I start seeing the bloopers when people they'll have
Yeah.
like multicolored balloons.
The multicolored balloons. Have
So
you
you-
seen- my favorites are the ones where they do something with baseball and it backfires.
It's
Like they
just
have
stupid.
like I've seen like one with a guy, like the lady throws it and like she underhands it to the husband. He has an aluminum bat and he just rips it and it doesn't break off his bat and it doesn't break off her face.
Right.
Like it hits her dead in the face. And I know I shouldn't have laughed as hard as I did, but I did. I did. I'm sorry. I mean, you know my saying. What's the saying? Play stupid games,
Win stupid
prizes.
It's true. Very true.
But that's
Very
the
true.
poison of social media. What social media did to musicians is that it convinced them that fame isn't the byproduct of the work.
Yeah.
It,
Absolutely.
it convinced them that you can wake up today, you can do something on your phone that 1 million people will see in the next 12 hours, and now you have some sort of notoriety.
Right.
You look at all these social media stars that really have no talent.
The
but just-
social media, like
they go around
I
harassing
don't
people.
want to. I don't want to cut it in again. Like
Yeah.
the social media comedians, like we've had this discussion.
They're not funny when they go
They're
on
not
on
funny
a comedy
when you-
stage.
Yeah.
You need editing to be funny.
Oh, okay. No, I
So
get what you're saying.
Now
Okay.
it's quick cuts.
Right.
So you can trim out all the pauses, all the fuck ups, all the
Mhm.
ums. But when
Right.
you go on stage for Def Jam and they give you a slot because you have 500,000 followers,
Right.
and no one's laughing, it's because they've seen you for you.
Yeah.
It's like
right.
you
the
did,
real you.
You didn't put the material together quick enough
Right.
to match whatever social media personality you have.
Mhm.
So with these artists, what they're doing now is, you have direct-to-consumer marketing. Now it's just Facebook ads. Now it's Instagram ads. Now you can pay $750, get your video on WorldStar, and you think that because you're getting all those views, that you're actually being watched. People, they're going
course.
on there to troll you. Like
Sure.
these places
Right.
are to troll you.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one. I'm not a troll, but I love reading troll comments.
Troll
man.
comments are
Troll
hilarious.
comments on videos, on viral
Right.
videos. Like I haven't been on WorldStar in forever, but I just used to
I'm on
love
there every
like some
day.
of these videos and just reading the comments on them, man. And it's like, wow.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And I
Jeez.
know people who've paid that. I've edited videos for people who have paid the $750, $800 to get it on WorldStar, and I was embarrassed that my name was in the credits
Damn.
because of the comments that they were getting.
Oh yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just don't do this.
For
Then
sure.
it goes back to what he was saying. It was that one record that they were holding on to for such a long time.
Mhm.
Like, this is gonna be the one. This is gonna be the
Right.
one. Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It don't work like that.
It's hard, man, because there are so many examples of where it worked. It's kind of similar to, like, it's not only just social media, but things like on everything you got on TV now, American Idol, The Voice, all those things too. And, you know, and they're seeing how much these people are becoming so famous, and they're working with top-level people and things like that. But that's such a small percentage.
A small
I
percentage.
remember hearing, like, back in the day, like, people would be like, it's almost like when they were like, yeah, I'm not going to college, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to drop out of college because I'm going to be like Diddy. And, like, you know, that's one way to look at it because, you know, Diddy didn't go and things, and he mapped it out for himself. But then everybody starts to go, all right, so that's what I have to do. But that's one person out of however many hundreds of thousands, if not more, people that it didn't work for.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's like it's a small percentage of people you see on American Idol, and it's even an even smaller percentage of people who even have like longevity for a career, like have a
100%.
career, have career longevity in this business, in this industry. Even the ones you see on these shows with these worlds of talent, just
Mhm.
because, like you say, artist development doesn't ever work out. Something doesn't work out the way
Right.
it should. Something doesn't break the way it should, and you know, some people fall in between the cracks, or you know, it just doesn't come to be the way they thought.
Definitely.
And
Artist,
it happens that
artist
way.
development in itself is becoming like this prehistoric idea. Record labels are not gonna spend any money developing artists.
not
That's
at all.
that's your job now.
Yep.
You
Yep.
have every single tool with the internet, with the graphic design that you can easily do yourself. You go on a website like Fiverr, you can get a press
Right.
release written for $10.
Right.
You can
Yeah,
send
for
it out
sure.
to 100 blogs for $100. So it's up to you to go out there and develop yourself because ain't nobody gonna watch your back.
Right.
It's one of those things that all your label mates, especially when you sign to a major, they're just label mates.
Right.
Like
Oh, yeah.
you don't see them in the office. You don't
Mhm.
go out to dinner with them. Like they're trying to take whatever spot they think you have.
Right.
So it's a
And
dog eat dog world.
I think you're right too. Like I think it's definitely about developing yourself, but I think it's also too about building and developing your team.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think that to have a team of people that have
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Danny.
You said I got a butt.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Right. That's what I want.
Thank you, sir.
He gave both of y'all hearts. He gave me an ass. It's early Christmas. Can we
Yeah,
get a
man.
nice? Can we get a nice toast here?
Round the house.
Let's get him in here too.
Ah.
There we go. Excellent.
Good morning, Bushwick.
Good morning, Bushwick.
Good morning.
As an A&R guy, I don't know the history of this particular thing, but I just want to see if you know. When was the 360 deal invented?
It came in like because A&R pretty much started to die off when the studios died off, which was probably around like 2008, between 2008, 2011. I say is when it really just kind of became a thing of the past. Because I was really around it in like 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that point, things were starting to kind of trickle off. You know what I mean? That was like during that big ringtone.
I was about
era.
to say the ringtone. I was about
Yeah.
to say how much did the ringtone ever have an effect on that?
Well, at that point they were just scrapping, looking for something to keep themselves alive. You know what I mean? Because like the internet was coming around, it was starting to become a thing where people were starting to gravitate more towards the internet. So the labels were really scrapping. And the hard thing is, the unfortunate thing is, labels are really not. They weren't very smart about working with what was happening. You know, they tend to,
chastised Napster.
yeah, you know what I mean? They tend to resist the new things that are coming in as opposed to working with them. And I think that's ultimately why they fell down. You know, but I think that, you know, the 360 deal and all of that started to come around, you know, again, because labels were like, okay, we got to figure out some kind of way to keep ourselves relevant in this because people were realizing that they didn't need them. So once they did, it took off to some degree, but you had to already be established to even be considered for a 360 deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's kind of, you know, labels were like, okay, well, how can we give you a 360 deal? Because now you have that social media aspect that's there, And they're looking now to be like, all right, well, how many followers do you have? How many shows do you already have lined up? Because they're already looking for that stuff because they don't really have the ability to do that for an artist anymore. You know, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
And for the people who don't know what a 360 deal is, just to put it in a nutshell, the label will back you financially, but they're going to take a cut off of everything. Everything.
Yeah.
They're going to shave hair off your elbow.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
True.
they'll take
yeah.
the fucking shoelaces off your
Right.
shoes. Like,
Yeah.
and when you look at the grand scheme of what artists have available to them, like with merch, touring,
Yep.
which are all things that could be done independently
Absolutely.
now, fairly easy.
Yep.
They'll take a cut of that. It don't matter if you sell a shirt in Germany.
Yep.
They're taking
Oh, yeah.
half. So
And in terms of that too, like the only thing that they had to keep that going was their name. Like artists being like, oh, I still believing that they needed that label backing. So labels in essence would take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, well, you need us. You know, like we're Sony, we're Warner, we're Atlantic.
People
so
can smell desperation from a
yeah.
mile away.
And and unfortunately, a lot of artists don't educate themselves either. You know, like they're just looking for someone to do it for them.
Yeah.
And that again goes
That's
to what we
why,
were saying about the development thing. If you're
I
not
mean-
developing yourself, then it's like you're not even going to be looking into that.
But that
They're
even,
not gonna look
that
into
comes to
it.
something you
Definitely.
said, man, a couple weeks ago about the whole Tyrese thing, being mad at The Rock for getting a spinoff and delaying
Oh, right.
production on the new
Right,
Fast
right.
and the Furious.
Right.
And he, complaining about needing the money. And you say, if you had learned the business, you should be doing these things independently because you've been in the industry almost 2 decades now.
I don't get that. I don't
Like
get that.
you saying that was right on, but there are people who have just been so, and it's kind of like the people, from the Matrix, people that are so hopelessly stuck in it, who even if you tell them, show them the way out,
Yep.
and like you can do this all on your own and don't need any of this, they want to stay.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
comfort and the comfort.
I talk to a lot of artists, right? A lot of independent artists, and they dream of winning a Grammy. That's people, and that at
Yeah.
one point in my life, that was my dream.
Absolutely.
I want to
Absolutely.
win a fucking Grammy,
For
bro.
sure. For sure.
You know how irrelevant that
Oh, yeah.
Grammy is?
Yep.
I've met people, and I don't want to say the girl's name, but she won a Grammy for a song that she wrote for Jay-Z.
Right.
It was Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' song. She was
Okay.
one of the writers.
Right.
And
I know what you're talking about.
she had to borrow money from her family to go pick the Grammy up.
Right. Oh yeah.
So it's not
yeah.
winning a Grammy.
Yep.
There's a reason why people like Drake go and start giving Grammys away on his Instagram, and then he's talking about it in the next song.
Right.
While they're using them as cups, that's what they are. It's just cups.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they give you a certain recognition, but just because you're a Grammy award-winning artist doesn't mean that you're gonna have financial stability.
Absolutely.
Which is the ultimate goal of having any sort of career.
Yep.
Like people just want to be famous. They don't want to be paid.
Right.
Fuck that, man. Just
Right.
show me the money and
Right.
don't talk to me, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think a lot of people think that getting famous now comes, both for one and the same, man. But even a lot of people now, like I read an article last week, man, a girl who went into like $15,000 in debt,
Oh yeah.
trying to be Instagram famous, trying to look like she was like a social media influencer, flying all over the place, amazing outfits, but she's just doing it all on a card,
Oh, yeah.
running up debt.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people who
I mean, that's one of the biggest parts of being an artist that's neglected on a regular basis, the business aspect of it. You know what I mean? And you hit it right on the head by saying that, like, people think that once you become famous or something else, then you're good. You're set. The money's going to start coming in. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And again, it goes back to not developing yourself, not educating yourself in terms of the business, in terms of what do I have to do within the industry to keep myself sustainable, not only relevant as an artist, but sustainable as a human being.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's something I've seen it happen over and over again. And even when I worked at Atlantic, man, like they would sign people, and that was at the time when they were giving out advances, which is just, that's just a that's just
What do you have to do
Oh,
to
yeah.
get an advance nowadays?
Oh man, I mean,
You got to go to Harvey Weinstein's house.
for people,
Yo,
3
even that,
a.m..
man. Yo, you say Harvey Weinstein, and I was watching
That's how
an
you get a
old,
check.
I was watching an old 30 Rock episode the other day, and there was a low key Harvey Weinstein joke, and this episode had to have aired in like 2000. What they went off air like 2013.
Because people
So
knew
it's like
about him.
2012, 20.
everybody knew about it.
And she made a joke. It had to be Tina Fey wrote it because she was the writer of the show. Or she was the head writer. You know, obviously not the only writer.
I like
but
Tina Fey.
I love Tina Fey. And Jenna, the lady on the show, Jenna, not Tina Fey's character, but the actress on the show goes, I have resisted sex with Harvey Weinstein on no less than 3 out of 5 occasions. And it was like when I heard it though, I'm like 3 out of 5. I'm like, wait, did it say Harvey Weinstein? Like, I gotta run that back and hit again, like so that went. But then it's even all the Seth MacFarlane jokes he would make. Like he made a ridiculous amount of jokes about the Harvey Weinstein thing and Family Guy, on American Dad, on all the roasts he did on Comedy Central.
Industry insider information.
Like there were people,
everybody. How can you not know?
There are agents who said they wouldn't leave female actresses that are their clients alone with him.
Wow.
That they would follow them everywhere they went. They wouldn't leave him in the room alone.
Courtney Love, Kurt Cobain's wife.
Yeah.
She got interviewed like in 2011 on the red carpet, and they asked her if you had any advice for up and coming actress or rock star, what would it be for a girl in Hollywood? She said, if Harvey Weinstein invites you to the Four Seasons, don't go. This was in 2011.
That's crazy.
So I'm saying, like,
they even saying
they have their system already.
Oh yeah.
The NYPD is saying that they had, when something happened out here, and they're even saying both the LAPD and the NYPD may have enough to arrest him. So he's about to get cooked either way. But they're saying, I read an article that the NYPD is saying that they knew they had enough information for one of the sexual assaults, and that when they presented the case to that they actually brought him in, and when they presented the case to the district attorney, that's when everything got they started having problems.
Right.
In the case, and the NYPD is saying that, that they blew it up, that the district attorney's office blew the case up, that they purposely, messed up the case. And it's weird, man, that you would think, like, with everything everyone knows, like, and if it's an open secret like this in Hollywood, it shouldn't be that hard to find.
Not just Hollywood, though.
Yeah,
it's not just Hollywood.
Definitely
bro.
not.
Nah,
and don't you think
not.
too? I think it's also too. People got to protect their own ass. You know what I mean? There's no way that not everybody knew. Like everybody knew about that, but I think ultimately, like people are looking out for themselves. It's such a small industry in itself. There are very limited opportunities. There's limited access. So people hear about that stuff. They're like, nah, I don't even want to be a part of that. Let me just stick to my own business.
Just look at all those old band movies, like on VH1 of those bands that was coming up from back in. There's always that character in each movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's always that guy that's sitting in the back with the cigar that's gonna tell you that I'm gonna make your dreams come true. You just gotta do this.
Yeah, it's always been around since everywhere, since every time. But I think it's certainly. I think it's not a bad thing that it's at the forefront of the news like it is.
Agreed.
That people know that, especially young girls are seeing this, know what to look out for, people with dreams. And it's insane to think of the level, how like the people you just see falling left and right. Like Mark Cuban might go down right now. Like the NBA. Like if they took the team from Donald Sterling for saying what he said, if any of what they're saying about the Mavericks come out to be true or about him, I can't see how the NBA can't force him to sell that team the same way they made Donald Sterling do it. And if I was Donald Sterling, I would be in the news screaming to high hell. I would be screaming to high hell. You made me say for having, yes, bigoted, very racist, disgusting views, but I wasn't out here being a sexual predator, to say the least. At least there's no proof he was.
Right. Yeah, but Mark Cuban has celebrity power, and that's why they're going to protect him.
Hell no. You fucking cannot. You fucking cannot.
That's
you
why.
Can't. I'm sorry. If they do, well, first off, everyone knows I'm not a big NBA fan. I love sports, but everyone knows the NBA is like my third favorite behind Major League Baseball, and even the NFL is slipping off in my book. I love baseball still, though. But everyone knows I'm not that big of an NBA fan. I don't have very many NBA players that I consider my favorite athletes. But I'm saying this right now, if the NBA doesn't start their own independent investigation and cut this bullshit letting the Mavs run their own investigation, the NBA needs to step in.
The Mavs are running their own investigation?
The Mavs are running their own investigation into this. The NBA hasn't started their own
That's like a company. Wait.
Yo, but here's the thing.
Right.
You're saying this. I'm going to stop you right there. Larry Nassar. Everybody knows who Larry Nassar was, right? The guy who just got in trouble at USA Gymnastics. Who got that? Like the judge threw the book at him, and the father tried to attack the doctor.
Oh,
who
yeah.
was molesting all the
the doctor,
the gymnast.
Yeah.
Sure guy.
And he was at Michigan State, and they're having a big problem with with the whole Title IX with the sexual assault thing on their campus, and they said there's like a culture of sexual assault around sports teams, around the athletics departments, particularly the football team and the men's basketball team in particular, and like that was one of the things.
It's everywhere, bro.
Like yo, it's ridiculous.
What do you think is at the forefront of that culture? Like the forefront of what's allowed that to? Because you said it's been
I'll tell you
around
right
for the
now.
longest time.
Lack of independence.
Okay.
If everyone wanted to go out there and make their own movie, record their own album, book their own tour, then you wouldn't even be in a position to have to be in a room with somebody like that.
Truth.
And there's enough information on YouTube and in libraries. Like, open a book. Just do some research. You don't have to go get a degree. You just got to do a little research to see what you need to do.
Yeah.
And if we've never had to go out of our way to, beg somebody for something, because we've been doing it on our own since we started.
Right.
So why is it that people still go out to Hollywood and think, oh, I'm gonna go audition. Let me lose weight so I can audition.
Right.
Audition for what? Write the fucking movie. Do something. Write a
Because
sitcom.
everyone, how many people do you think in Hollywood right now are still trying to do that, or have been trying to do that for the last 10, 15 years?
Trying to do
And haven't
write
broken
their own
in.
stuff.
Write their own stuff, just haven't broken it. There are a lot of people
Right.
trying to do just that have done that. Just, if you want to get in the door sometimes, you have to play ball. Everybody doesn't get the Sylvester Stallone, hey, I'll take way less on this just to act in my own movie that I believe in this much, and have it carry on a franchise for like 3-4 decades, like Rocky has. That doesn't happen like he did with people like, yeah, we like the script, we don't like you in it as the actor, so he just kept going around living in his car. That doesn't happen for everyone. Everybody doesn't have that
agree.
story.
I agree, but you just tapped into something, like the level of sacrifice he was willing to make.
Everyone's not willing to make that sacrifice.
Exactly. I mean,
as much
Sylvester
as
Stallone sold his own dog
yeah,
to sell
then
that
bought
script.
it back
to
for
sell
like,
that
what,
script, brought it back
$25,000?
for
You know
more
what I
than he
mean?
paid for it. And then he got, man, it's insane to think about that, man, that he believed in himself that much. Even, as much as I think he set back, black culture entirely. Tyler Perry. Like,
Okay.
he believed in himself that much. He was bankrupt,
I thought you
bro.
were talking
He
about
was
Stallone.
getting evicted.
Stallone said
Nah.
like black culture.
Me too. I was like, what's
Nah,
I
look at that
do?
one.
He was bankrupt, evicted, losing his house, just living out of his car.
Right.
And he still said, yo, I'm going to roll the dice one more time
Yeah.
on a play. I'm going to try it one more time.
Right.
And he hit. He hit.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Medea's everywhere now. He has sitcom shows. He's everywhere. Tyler Perry's
Right.
everywhere.
But I don't think it's only applies to Hollywood. I think it also applies to just in general, just that employee mindset that we all have. Because ultimately, most of us are just working a job, working 9 to 5 every day for somebody else.
Yeah, but at least
You know
you're
what I'm
making
saying?
coffee in your own
In your own
establishment.
establishment.
Your own
You
establishment.
have us doing a TV show in your establishment. This is your place.
And it wasn't easy.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, there were a number of different, there were years and years and years of people saying no, you getting rejected, being like, how the hell is this going to happen for me? But sticking with it. Like, so I don't, I think that kind of trickles down into Hollywood, but I think it even starts, on Main Street too. Because
Yeah.
I just think that it is a certain mindset that many of us do have, and it's hard to break out of that because it's like, okay, I want to have my own business, I want to do my own thing, but I got to pay my bills, I got to pay the rent, I got kids, I'm married, I got to make sure my kids are.
I think-
it's a very tough place to be in.
I think the system was designed for it to be that way. I
course
honestly
it was
believe that's the way
designed.
the system was designed. You look back to when, you say back, 50s, 40s, when people work, a minimum wage job, and, you could support your family on that.
Yeah.
You could buy a house, own a car, on a minimum wage job. Kids could pay for college out of, high school, working a summer job. None of that's, the same anymore.
Now, minimum wage gets you a Metro card and lunch.
That's it.
And pretty
For real.
soon it won't be able to get you both.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know?
It's crazy. You
Yep.
you work just enough to keep working.
You work. I used
Just
to tell
enough to
people
keep
all the
working
time.
for real.
When people
Oh,
would
yeah.
like get on my nerves at work, well, it's just a problem. When you have a job, you get paid. I tell them I work just enough to be broke.
Right.
I make just enough at the end of each week to be broke.
Yep.
And I mean, I get that. And I told him, man, like I'm glad I have the job I do now, because the job, and it's still in the same field, but much better hours, better clientele, just a better overall, like the best end of my
More
spectrum
upscale
I could be doing.
experience.
And I told people, man, I wasn't sure how much more I had left in me to keep going at where I was, man, just because I've been there so long and dealing with the same things for the last 11, 12 years. It breaks your spirit, man.
Absolutely.
It breaks your will to even want to work any job,
Oh, yeah,
man. And I've
for
been
sure.
doing this out of high school, like just working because I didn't want to go to college. I knew I didn't like college.
Right.
So I tell people, what was the sense of me knowing I wasn't going to like it just
Right.
to go do it just because that's what everyone says do.
To do. Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, despite the fact that I moved up through, jobs to without a, real college degree to where I was head of security, worked all the way up from regular security guard, supervisor, to manager to head of security with the people I was with. And, someone will look at that resume and not see, all right, this kid's had, supervisor experience doing multiple things. They'll just see, oh, no college, only security experience. Well, what does that really do? You don't ask me, how is it, how do I have people older than me, working for me, dealing with stuff, dealing with crowds and stuff. But people don't look at it. They don't look at like that experience could be relative or translate to anything else.
Right.
And
Paperwork matters to a lot of those people.
yeah,
Like somebody like me, I design websites, graphics, all that stuff. I don't have any degree.
Yeah.
I dropped out of college 3 times.
Entrepreneur.
So when everybody would tell me, oh, you can get a job at Sony. It's like, Sony's not going to look at me.
Right.
They're going to see, oh, he's a Bushwick High School graduate.
Right.
And then that was it. Then he just started freelancing,
Mhm.
and I did everything from drive trucks to
Right.
be bootleg security that wasn't even really stopping people. And
Right.
it was just like, I've done so many different things, but now all these years later, to try to sell services to people, let's say I'm going to make you a website. Be like, all right, but I can go on Fiverr and get a website from some guy in the Philippines that's going to charge me $10.
Right.
So it's not even worth dealing with clients anymore. You just got to put everything into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes back to what we were talking about before with artists, I think everyone's scared and they go back to that employee mentality because they're looking at the top of the staircase. They're not looking at the steps.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if somebody just set a goal, let's say I'm going to do a song a week, and then the next week I'm going to drop a video for that song that I did the previous week. Consistency is going to bring you looks. If you're consistent.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but what you said, goals. Set goals instead of minimums. Remember, that was what they always told us at
put
City
that on a shirt.
Solutions. Set goals instead of minimums.
Okay.
If you say, I need to do a minimum of this, then you'll only be, reaching for that minimum and not want to go over it. But if you say the goal is to hit here, then that's the goal. I want to, achieve that.
Mhm.
And it's just, it'll adjust a different mindset, which it does.
Yeah. But how do you escape the trap that he was talking about in terms of just looking for that,
You
that
have
high
to-
ground? But because ultimately that can create the need to cut corners to get there.
Yeah.
Now realizing that it is, like you said, a step
A
by
step,
step by step
realizing
process.
that it's a step, it's a journey, that it's not going to be an overnight thing.
Because I feel like that's when we get tired.
That was
You
one
know,
of the things in
and
the
those
beginning I
steps,
used to have
that's
to
when we
stress
get
to
tired.
him, man. Like, it's not going to happen overnight, man. We are going to eventually hit, and now at 6 years later, we are where we thought we should have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
But-
but when we've had those conversations, it was something completely different because
But-
we've been on the radio and on TV for the past 6 years, but I've been playing music for 20 years.
Yeah.
So it was a completely different journey before.
Right.
And I had to go through those same steps that all these people fall into. I had to be the employee guy.
Yep,
I had to
absolutely.
be, yes, boss. Yes,
Yep,
boss.
yep.
Anything you say, boss.
Yep.
And that shit don't get you nowhere.
Right.
And then when you really try to be independent and start playing, hole in the wall bars, and you want to play 5 times a week, that shit don't get you nowhere either. Now it's about packaging a product, presenting the product to the people, building the next product. And if you do that consistently, people are going to start looking at you. If the music is good, people are going to keep listening to it.
Right.
But
How does that apply to DeJuan? DeJuan, what's your what are you working on, man? What's your goal? What's your dream?
he's an educator. He's an A&R. He was the one that was teaching
Yeah.
people all these things.
Yeah, I mean now I do it independently. Now I work independently with artists. Doing that same thing, all those things that I learned when I was working in the labels and the recording studios and all that, working with the executives and everything else, because they all had the same mindset. They were all about building the craft. They were all about not cutting corners, making no excuses, just going step by step, just staying with it. And I'll tell you, and it was even something back then when I was talking with a lot of them would say that one of the biggest challenges that they would find is having people that are committed to that process because of that very thing you guys are talking about, like wanting it right away. Like, all right, so like you're working 3 jobs, but you still have to work your 3 jobs and then come to the studio at night. And it would be so easy to be like, yeah, man, but I'm tired though. Like I just worked my 3rd job, But the ones who were willing to do
The
it
ones who wanted are gonna be
were the
there,
ones
man.
who were continuing to move forward with it, and not looking at like, okay, like this is not happening. I mean, we all deal with that. Like, oh, it's not gonna happen. When the hell is this gonna happen? Like, you feel like there's like everything you're putting into it, you're not seeing any results. But all the top successful people, they'll all tell you that they went through that same process.
Everybody, I think, has that has that moment where they want to quit, man.
Moments.
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 I mean, one of my
Someone
favorite.
today.
Yeah. For real.
One of my favorite athletes, my favorite Mets ever, Mike Piazza.
Okay.
When he was in the minors, he said in Double-A when he was with the, I believe it was Double-A, when he was with the Dodgers, that he was having a rough season. He wasn't enjoying it. He was ready to quit, and he said he told his manager at the time, who didn't let him, but called his dad, let him leave for a few days. He's gone maybe a day or two, and came back and knew he didn't want to quit. He didn't want to quit baseball, and that's what fueled him to a Hall of Fame career.
Right.
Was that one moment where he thought he didn't want to do it anymore? He thought, I'm never gonna make it to the majors. Why am I doing this? And this is a guy who was picked in the last round of the Major League Baseball draft. And Major League Baseball draft is like 60, 70 rounds. Depending on how many players in the draft, everybody gets a chance to get drafted. So and he was picked in like the last round of the draft, man, that year, and still the career he's had.
Absolutely.
Arguably the greatest offensive catcher in baseball history. And
I came up with an analogy right now. You ever seen those street carnivals?
Mm-hmm.
You know those inflatable houses that the kids play inside?
Right.
the bouncy house.
The bouncy house.
Yeah.
That is a career that goes viral because it takes only a second to inflate and only a second to destroy.
Right.
But when you're an artist that
great
chips away
analogy.
at it every day, just laying brick,
Yep.
when that storm comes, you're not going to fly away.
Your foundation is there.
Like,
Yeah.
you have to lay down bricks.
Yep.
If I have advice for anybody, stop trying to go viral.
Right.
Stop
But that
trying to
is
go
the
viral.
culture now, right? I mean,
That
that's
is.
like, fuck.
That's how
Unfortunately,
everyone
that
thinks.
is the
That's why
culture.
everybody and their mother has a YouTube channel now. That's why
Everybody.
everybody wants to be on YouTube,
Yeah.
on Facebook. I do this, I do that.
Yep.
And it's all for the hopes of going viral. And look at how bad it goes. Look at the girl who killed her baby's father last year, trying to do the stunt for YouTube
When
he
she shot
told
him?
her, yeah, when she shot him.
Joe.
Hey, what's going on, Joe? Because she thought the gun wasn't loaded when she didn't know. He's like,
I
yeah,
saw
we're just
that.
gonna go viral. Like this we're
That's
gonna fake it,
crazy.
and it'll all be funny. And no, now you're dead, and
Damn.
she's going to jail, and who knows where your child is?
Right. All to be seen. I think that's one of the things that we're really afraid of as artists, to go through that period of being invisible or working
Invisible.
behind the scenes.
But
that's when all the work is done.
yeah, it has to. It has to happen. I tell people too, man. A lot of people don't. I don't know how many people like this saying, man. It has to happen organically. You can't rush it. Like people don't want to just take the time, build your craft, hone in on it, man.
But
So
how do we put that out in a culture now that's all about right away?
We lead
the
by
ones who
example.
understand it, they'll get it.
Right.
And you can filter them out, man. The ones who want to go for the viral shit, go ahead,
Yeah,
man.
we gotta lead by
Enjoy
example.
your
Yeah.
fly by night flash in the pan career.
Right.
Those who want to, who want the longevity, who want to be involved in that, they'll be there.
Yep.
And they'll understand what's being presented to them, an opportunity, man.
Like
So-
people need to look at their favorite artist, whatever your favorite artist is. Let's say I'll pick Chris Brown.
Okay.
You YouTube Chris Brown, and Chris Brown has so many songs and videos that are coming out that you've never heard, that you won't hear on the radio.
Mhm.
It's because creativity is a muscle. You got to exercise.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if he's gonna dump the same amount of advertising money into every track. He
Right.
knows which are singles. He knows which he just wants to put out
Mhm.
to keep fans there. Those are the bricks.
Right.
That keeps people, all right, now he got something new. All right, let me check this shit out.
Mhm.
And it becomes personal to them because it's not being blasted on the radio. It's like
Right.
something they found.
Right.
So it's a psychology game with the fans, and at the same time, you have to be, you got to be mindful of these things for yourself.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up the psychology game because, I'm thinking about somebody like Kendrick, who's very strategic about when he puts things out and how often he puts things out, which is very different from how most artists are conducting themselves because everybody wants to put out something over
the
and over and over and over.
oversaturation game.
Exactly, the oversaturation game. But he's very like, nah, I'm going to lay back. It's that old adage of like, leave the people wanting more.
Yeah, leave them wanting more.
Kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like he's very good about, and I feel like the artists that are doing really well, they have that type of mindset with it, where they know We got to be strategic about what we're doing and how we're moving. You know, because I mean, even with up and coming artists now, I remember I think you guys were talking about a guy who made like 70 songs, but did he put all 70 out?
No.
You know what I mean? He's making those songs, but
they
he's
just
like
ammo.
Yeah,
you know what I
just-
mean? Like you said, he's building up those muscles, those creative muscles, but he's also having the psychology to think to himself, all right, I made 70 tracks. Now out of this 70, maybe 5 are really solid, and out of that 5, I'm just gonna put out one right now that I feel is the strongest, because I know that's gonna be the thing to represent me right now.
I don't even know if I would drop the strongest first, man. I think I would drop something like medium to get lukewarm.
But if you're
and
new,
then come out like.
but it
with-
depends on it. I feel like it depends though, because like if you're making 70 songs, you got a lot of things to choose from.
Yeah.
You know, to where you can be like, all right, like I know out of this, I mean, 1 out of 70. That's a.
That's it, yeah.
you
It
know
could
what
be
I'm
the
saying?
strongest for the time too. 'Cause
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Strongest at
If
that
he had a
moment.
song about
Yeah.
a fucking storm, a winter storm,
Right.
drop that shit during the winter
Yeah,
storm.
right.
And you might have a summer track on deck that you
Definitely.
need to hold
It's
that
like
shit
what
till
I
July.
mean. It's like even though like when we talk with Gates and Fife in the studio, and you know they're like, yo, we've been sitting on this for a minute now. It's old. It's like I mean, it's old to you. Who's heard it though? The public hasn't heard it, so it's
Yeah.
just new.
And what they
That
do
shit's
also
brand
is
new.
they obsessively tweak the sound.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
they go with tracks, they'll have 50 tracks, and they go in every day to the studio and keep messing with it so that it's
Right.
perfect.
Yeah, for
You got to
sure.
become obsessive with the
But
product.
there's people that do that, man. Like Kanye West is like one of
Oh,
those.
yeah.
Like he's a producer like
Definitely.
that. There's people that have said they've sat there and seen Kanye like adjust like the everything to the beat the way he wants it,
Yep.
one by one, so that where it is exactly the way he wants it to sound and hear and everything. So
Oh, yeah.
like he'll adjust the beat to the track. Like it's just crazy the way people say the way he adjusts things when he's producing.
I think
So
that
that it's like
contributes
that.
though, like to what you were talking about before, that longevity.
That longevity,
you know,
that
'cause
artistry.
the artists
'Cause-
that are that way, they do tend to have longevity. I mean, look at an artist like Pharrell. You know what I mean? Like as a producer, as an artist, I mean, they just dropped that new NERD album,
I didn't even know.
and that did you hear that album?
No.
I haven't heard it
I
yet.
haven't
Oh
heard.
man,
I'll
Nerd
check it
in
out.
the
that
NERD.
album's crazy.
Pharrell.
Pharrell?
Not gonna lie, man. Joe.
Tell us about some of the artists that you work with. Maybe bring a
Uh,
showcase to what's the name of your company?
DeJuan Lewis Music. Yeah, yeah.
The artists let's have a show.
No, yeah, I would love to do that. Yeah, I would love to do that. I mean, I'm developing. I'm working with an artist right now. His name is Chris LaCour. He's a singer, songwriter, guitarist, and he got started pretty late in the game. You know what I mean? Just because like life. You know what I mean? Life. But he's always had that. He's always wanted to work on his music and things like that. But there were always different things that would kind of get in the way. But he stayed very committed to wanting to learn more about the music, to like build his own sound. So that's the stage that we're in right now.
Everything
Like,
happens when it's supposed to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everything falls into place when it's
Absolutely.
supposed to. Like this,
Absolutely.
the way the new job and everything fell into place, man. Is like I
Yeah.
tell people, everything happens when it's supposed to, man. Even,
Yeah.
It's hard to accept sometimes. Very
It is.
hard, man.
Absolutely.
But,
It
you know,
is.
you just have to know you can only control what you can, and
Yep.
what's within your grasp to
And
control.
going back to your point earlier, people need to understand the business, not just the lifestyle now
Right.
on it, because I think people fall into 360 deals in those type of situations when they go in and let's say they was hustling because they saw people hustling before.
Right.
So
Yeah,
they
for
trying to
sure.
follow stories that's from people that happened 25, 30 years ago.
Yep.
Those same people, if you're talking about the Jay-Z's in the 50s, you got to look at Tidal.
Oh, yeah.
You got to look at Vitamin Water.
Yep.
You got to look at the
Yeah,
business deals
right.
that they closed
Yep.
that gave them the longevity in their career where they can just finance themselves.
Right.
the sneaker deals with Reebok.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them had
yeah.
like, the S dot Carters. I'm not gonna lie, man. If I could find me a pair of like fresh white S dots,
Sure, on
I would
eBay.
wear those before I wear a pair of Uptowns.
Right.
At this point, like I love the S dots.
it's
Those
like
are amazing
you-
shoes. I
S
love them.
dots.
You got to study
I have them
business.
in white and black. Low
Outside
top,
of
bro.
just music business, you got to study
Right.
business.
You just gotta study
Yeah.
business in general, man. People have to read. You have to study a lot more than anything, man.
Yeah.
Than just whatever you're doing, man. Just read in general. Read like daily news. Read like current events. Stay
Mhm.
like current. A lot of people
Yeah.
just stay in a bubble about what they want to do,
Right.
and are ignorant to everything else. And I want to say ignorant, but not quite as knowledgeable on much
Yeah.
else, and
Right.
it affects them, man. But just to touch on longevity real fast, hey Joe, just so you know, Pharrell's song "Happy" made me ridiculously angry every time I heard it. It got
Made me
annoying in about
ridiculously
two,
angry.
like just 2 tries. It got me so mad. I hate that song so much.
Very angry.
That song makes me like it makes me aggressive. Like I want to start punching. Like I just because everybody just gets like everybody.
It's too happy. It's too happy of a song.
Too happy.
Like, everybody just starts losing it. Like yo, like there's no way a song can make you that happy.
Cocaine for the
If
ears.
it could, then the world would be a better place. Like if there's just that one song where everybody just it comes on, it's like a fucking 1950s Pepsi commercial.
Just see like everybody
Like the old freeze cuts and everybody doing more like
everybody in Times
bullshit out of
Square
my
just
face.
But there is.
Flash
I
mob.
mean, you can say what you say about it, but think about like when that song came out though.
And it's still going.
It's still going.
And, I mean, and it hit, man. I ain't got like I tell people all the
And
time.
it
I
made
don't knock
people
hits.
happy too.
It
Like I'm not.
genuinely
It made
did.
people happy.
I
Kids
feel like it
loved
was
it.
needed at that
Yeah,
time.
it came
you know?
out at a good time. It just wasn't for me, man.
I
Like,
hear
I
it.
ain't knocking it
'Cause he wasn't
it was
happy.
a
'Cause he wasn't
nah,
happy.
I was okay. I was happy at the time. I just didn't like the song. It got annoying very fast.
Right.
It got annoying fast,
Right.
man. Kind of
just-
like
they played it
Bodak
too
Yellow
much.
did this summer.
They played it too
They
much.
played it a lot. Yeah,
They
for
played
sure.
it way too much.
Right.
And then they showed I think it was Oprah with Pharrell, and they showed
Oh,
a
right.
video.
Yeah,
and he's
everybody
all around the
crying.
world.
Now
right?
you
Yeah.
know what really here's what pushed me over the edge, man. When everybody started after that, was it Oprah or Ellen? It was Oprah or Ellen.
I think it was
one of the two
Oprah.
of them. Or it might have been both. You might have did both.
I think Ellen was a part of the video.
I don't know.
And
All I
the-
know
the
is
thing I saw was with Oprah.
that after that video, then everyone else wants to start posting videos of everybody dancing the happy.
Oh,
on.
right,
It was
right,
like,
right,
the,
right.
The Pharrell happy challenge is like, oh fucking god. It's like you fucking kidding me.
And if you look closely in the
Yeah.
video, you'll see me in the corner in the back, dressed in all black in an emo pose. The only not happy
In the
person in the
emo
whole.
pose.
Doing
Right,
the
right,
emo
right.
dance.
Yeah.
Have my hair covering my eyes. Just like,
Man.
but yeah, just study the business. Study business in itself.
Yeah.
And stop thinking that auditions are the way to success. You got to understand, you can succeed your way to failure, and you can fail your way to success.
True.
So
True.
it's about taking shots. You're not going to make them all,
You have
but
to take
Yeah.
shots, man. And I mean, look, just and this is what I was saying before I went off on that story. Listen to the last track on Kanye West's first album, The College Dropout. When you hear about the way he was about to sign a deal with Capitol Records, and Capitol pulled out the last minute. Nobody would take him seriously as
Yeah.
a rapper at the time because he wasn't like baggy jerseys. You know, he was Kanye with the book
Oh,
bag,
yeah,
the
the
polo
polos,
shirts.
yeah,
You know,
yep.
all these the pink shirts and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody would take him seriously as a rapper because he didn't fit the image at the time. And he
Right.
was already, a producer. He was a producer for many years. He had already broken in. And just his story about things that happened to him coming up, man. And even you think about the car accident, like Through the Wire. He recorded Through the Wire after he almost died. A
right,
week
yeah.
after he almost died was jaw still wired shut.
But you realize what you just said, right?
What?
You said they didn't like Kanye because he didn't fit the mold of what rappers were at
What
the
rappers
time.
were
Yeah.
at the
and,
time.
And now
But no,
rappers wear dresses.
Oh,
nah,
yeah.
rappers wear dresses now, yeah. But no, but
Right.
at the time, like a
Right.
lot of people wouldn't take him. They like,
It's
he,
true.
He said
Nah,
it. They
it's
look at
very
him crazy,
true.
like, yo, you don't curse, like you're not cursing, you're not wearing like, you're not
Yeah.
all the gangster stuff.
Mhm.
You know, this guy, rapping poetry, and they weren't taking him seriously. He says
Right.
it. And then it was like a couple A&Rs were trying to push him, and they tried, but
Yeah.
nobody took him serious. And he said, like at first when he told Dame, like he was gonna sign with Capitol, Dame was like, hey man, be careful, man. You don't want to catch a brick, man. You don't want to catch a bad deal.
Right.
Make sure stay close. And he was like, he still, because he was a man of his word, was gonna go through on the deal with Capitol. And when Capitol pulled,
The rest
they
was
would still
history.
get Rockefeller.
That was it, yeah.
Obviously,
That was
we
it.
see what happened, man.
Yeah.
So we got to start. We got to start closing out the show. We got to give a live hand clap for DeJuan Lewis.
Thank you guys. Appreciate that.
That's
Appreciate that.
Tell the people where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can see your work, where they can.
I'm gonna bring some work over to First Live for sure. I got
Yes,
some
sir.
artists that I'm working with now. Like I said, Chris LaCour is one of them. I want to have him come here and do a little set here at First Live for sure. So
We're looking forward to
yeah,
that.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Where can they find you on Instagram, Facebook?
Nah, man,
You low key.
I'm low key.
Low
I like
key.
that.
Yeah,
So you can just find them here. You guys should show
Find
up.
him here, man.
That's
The,
it.
the
And he'll be
email,
here.
no website they
Yeah.
can reach you
Nah.
at. Nope.
Nope.
They just gotta hope
That's
you
it.
find their talent.
yeah.
You
That's
don't
that
you don't
A&R
go
in you.
looking. See, that's the good. Like you don't come looking for me. I'll find you. Like that's where you gotta do it, man.
Yeah, man.
Where can the folks find you at, sir?
They can find me at I'm King Roach. You can follow First Live at First Live US.
And of course, you can follow me at Mr. _ Taylor, and you can follow both of us at Bud and Roach Show. And of course, don't forget, if you are in the area, to be sure to stop into 219 Central Avenue, First Live Bushwick, Brooklyn 11221. Come enjoy one of these fantastic iced or hot caffeinated beverages, one of the many varieties of teas we now carry, including trill teas and matcha tea. Almost messed up
He
there.
said matcha again.
That's your fault, Maddie. I hadn't said that in
Said
like 2 weeks,
matcha
Maddie.
again.
Matcha tea.
Shout out to Chaz Green.
Shout out
Trill Tea.
Chaz Green over at Trill Tea, man. And of course, man, stop in for one of these fantastic handcrafted beverages. There's no judgment on when you start barrel clock in this building.
It's 5 o'clock
It's a
somewhere.
no judgment zone. You come in, start your bureau clock when you say, because it's your bureau clock.
We also have a full production studio.
Yes, we do have a full production studio here, and you can get all the information you need for it at firstlive.us. And all you need to know is that we record anyone, anywhere, anytime. And go over to firstlive.us, get all the information you need for that. And like I say every day, man, get your production services done right, man. Don't get your shit messed up, man. Get it done.
So it's another fantastic episode. Oh, of course, happy hour at First Live is 5 to 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, craft cocktails and more. If you really want to get fucked up and be in a TV station, I think this is the right place.
Yeah.
That's why I do it. That's
Place
why I
to
love
be.
being here. We'll be back tomorrow, same time.
Same place, episode 30
You
tomorrow.
guys already know. We love you, Bushwick.
Yes.
We love you, world.
Have a fantastic day. And
Coffee for music people, music for coffee people.
yes, we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.
The realness, realness. Got you stuck on the realness.